This is Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
Which is ironic, Kaz, because you made me go and see this.
All right. Well, look, we all saw Bumblebee,
Yes,
right?
we did.
Now, Transformers, I reviewed the last night, so you have to remember that when talking about Rise of the Beast. I've done my service when it comes to. I saw the second Transformers movie at IMAX because I actually enjoyed the first. So when the second one came out, I thought I'll go all the way to London to the BFI IMAX to go and see the second movie, and it was one of the worst experiences because of the sheer level of effort put into such a long, monotonous, and bad movie.
If my aging memory serves me rightly, the second one, Revenge of the Fallen, is that the one that had swinging robot testicles in it?
Yes.
And you saw that in IMAX, Kaz. It explains a lot.
You only know that after seeing.
Well,
okay.
yes.
And I
Yes.
enjoyed the first movie.
Everyone did, because the first one was good.
It was good, and I thought that all they would need to do is like figure out the ridiculous amount of changing robot thing.
Well, look, there is one good thing. No, scratch that. There's one really terrible thing we can all take away from Transformers: Rise of the Beast, and that it obviously wasn't all just Michael Bay's fault. Rise of the Beast. Now, I have to admit, I don't have a huge amount of history with the expanded Transformers franchise, shall we say.
It's just another toy line.
The Gen 1 toys I was that age. Everything else kind of passed me by. But this, I believe, is based on the very successful animated TV show, I believe, from was it the Beast Wars franchise that had a 1996 animated show. So Rise of the Beast takes a lot of its characters, a lot of its plots from that. So yes, there is another world somewhere with another dastardly planet-sized beastie trying to eat it. There's some good robots that, for some strange reason, on a planet on the other side of the galaxy, look exactly like human animals. I don't know why. I'm sure there's a very good reason for that.
There isn't
No,
you're
right.
They didn't even bother with a Michael Bay reason.
No, I know, and that's what I said in the review. At least Michael Bay in the first Transformers film explained why they look like cars. So that's Michael Bay 1, Rise of the Beast 0, for everyone keeping score out there. But look, there's a thing, you call it. It's an all spark. It's a transwarp key. Whatever the bloody hell it is, it's a MacGuffin. Winds up on Earth. Some good robots want it. Some bad robots want it. And caught in the middle of all this noise and crashing metal are a couple of human characters, desperately trying to make their mark, desperately trying to be heard, desperately trying to earn their paycheck. And yeah, I mean, I think I don't mind the Bay Transformers. I am very well aware that the last night was pretty poor, but I enjoyed it. Just bug nuts insanity. The balls that try to somehow link alien space robots to the giant swinging balls atop the pyramids that tried to link Merlin and King Arthur with space robots. I admire the insanity, and a healthy dose of that wouldn't have been missed in Rise of the Beast, shall we say. It skews very young, and it's obvious in every facet of it, tonally, visually. It's now a proper kids film. Its plotting is like a kid's film. Something happens because it looks cool. Something stops happening because they can't think of a way to make it look any cooler. The plot is dreadful. And for those that like eye and ear porn, it doesn't have a
very specialist market.
not on these forums. Not
for Cronenberg.
Yes. It's smashy crashy. There's spectacle, but it has lost what Michael Bay brought to the Transformers, and he manages to do with everything. Michael Bay just sort of puts spectacle right here, and it looks like cinematic spectacle. This looked like it was a very well put together Saturday tea time TV show. Nothing to do with necessarily the quality of the effects. It's the staging, it's the shot choice, it's everything else. Now, for me, I'm not a kid anymore, as much as I would wish to be. And this film just disappointed because it was so overtly aimed at kids that it was not for me. Kids will love it, I guarantee it. Families might very well love it. But for me, this was a huge disappointment after Bumblebee. It lost the heart of the characters. It lost the stripped back nature, and it lost weirdly, it lost the humanity of Bumblebee. Here, the two humans that we get, they're what are we? Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback. I mean, they're quite charming. They're decent enough. They're not, thankfully, Mark Wahlberg's hunky American everyman who just happens to be a dab hand with every space laser he ever lays his hands on. He's also not Shia LaBeouf's, hideously hyperactive man-child. So they're quite decent, but that's about it. So I think unless you've got a gaggle of sproglins desperate to see this at the cinema, it's a save you money. It's if there's nothing else on streaming when it comes in, probably give it a go then.
Honestly, even if you haven't got a gaggle, just go and see Spider-Verse instead. I mean, there's surely got to be better options than.
Do you know what? I don't even know why I bothered writing the review. I should have just put that. Go see Spider-Verse instead.
I mean, it's the first year in a few years where you can actually say go and see something else at the cinema. You're not locked in to one big film playing for 2-3 months, or if you're Top Gun Maverick 6, it's it's like a year where people have choice, and it doesn't seem like this is.
No, this will not be top of anyone's lists, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is it set in the same universe as the other films?
Yeah.
Or is it?
The 90s. It is. It's
but of course, none of it's ever mentioned. Yeah, exactly. There's no mention. There's no mention of what happened in Bumblebee, so we don't know if it's the same universe. Let's just say logic, like that, has no place in a viewing of this movie.
I mean, after Bumblebee, and we have to take note, something I didn't think about until after this came out was the fact that Bumblebee didn't make enough money. It didn't. It was the best received since the first movie, but people didn't turn up to watch it.
Because they've been worn out by the crap before it, presumably.
Maybe, and also it's a niche. It's a specific niche. It's like one character, and it's popular as
pioneer porn.
Well, no, do you know what No, because there was, and of course you got John Cena in there and all that. But I think what it was is it's beginning to show the problem for the franchise, which is who is this franchise now for? Because obviously when Bay came out, say what you like about his unnerving interest in Megan Fox's rear end, shall we say, but Bay made it as if it was a film for adults
or for teens.
Now, granted, half of the time the plot was just a load of old rubbish and all that, but it was very much a film that adults could. Now, Bumblebee, though, I think it went so far for that specific 80s vibe that suddenly it was for, let's just say, chaps our age who grew up with the toys. And no one else. Kids didn't want to see it because it sat in that old-timey wimey. Back in the 80s when there was none of that internet. And of course, now we've got even worse because now it's a real kids film with a bunch of characters that the kids now who it's for have got no relationship to. So I think they're in a huge identity crisis, this franchise, and God knows where they're going to go next.
Well, it was really simple where they went. They should have gone back to Cybertron because the opening bit in Bumblebee was like proper Transformers the movie done live action.
So yeah, but you say that, but then if they're on Cybertron, there's no need for them to transform. So suddenly it just becomes robots in space.
I am okay with that because they transformed into like other things, didn't they? And honestly, I'm okay with them being in robot form. Giant robots battling on a space planet for whatever, it looked really good at the beginning of Bumblebee.
Yeah, but you could say, look, you could say that. Do you know what would be really cool? Huge giant space robots having a massive scrap on top of the pyramids. You say it like that, and I'm in. But look what we got. So be careful what you wish for, Mr. Harlow.